Academic Affairs at D2L, and today we're talking about fusion. No, we're not talking about the union of atomic nuclei, nor are we talking about a trendy new combination of regional cuisines. In fact, we're here today to talk about Fusion, the D2L Users Conference. It just took place in Kissimmee, Florida, just this last week. And with me, as always, the man who can take the sunshine, sprinkle it with dew, the man who mixes it all up with love and makes the world taste good, Ken Chapman, Vice President of Marketing Research at D2L. Ken, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you give us some context? Tell us a little bit about Fusion.
Yeah, Fusion is kind of the opportunity for D2Lers to descend into Central Florida in the middle of the summer and endure scorching heat to tap into the passions of the educators that we work with on a regular basis, to learn what types of surprising things they're using our technology for that we don't always anticipate, but we want to help encourage and smooth. And just to really sort of see what's on the forefront of learning, what's on instructors' minds, and how do we help them, really deliver that student experience that they're looking for. So it was a really energetic and really positive vibe in Kissimmee, Florida this year at Fusion, Chris. For those of you that are just tuning in, we are between two moose, and we're talking about the D2L Users Conference and some of the things that we learned last week. Chris, what were some of the standout themes that really stuck out for you with Fusion this year? I might have lost Chris. There he is.
Hey.
Hi.
So, I just had a little technical hiccup. I am back. One of the things that there were several things that really stood out for me this year at Fusion. Specifically, I was just getting to my notes. My machine just took a dive here. I apologize. So my notes are taking forever to load. So at a lot of the things that I was seeing that I thought were really worth chatting about, that were really standing out, were related to the use of the way people were using technology. People are moving beyond sort of just trying to replicate what they were doing in class, what they're doing face-to-face and what they're doing online. I'm seeing people using a much wider range of tools and creating a much more consistent learning experience for students. Integrating all these tools to create a much more thoughtful and engaging experience, rather than, like I mentioned, just simply trying to recreate the face-to-face classroom experience. Mm-hmm. I also saw a lot of people that are starting to really embrace rubrics much more and provide much more authentic feedback and more consistent and quicker feedback to students, which I think is really good to see. Yeah. And then finally, I also saw that the term durable skills kept coming up. It was a term that we used to refer to as soft skills, but I like durable skills much more. And these durable skills are really changing the landscape of our personal and professional lives. And what's really remarkable is these durable skills are the most human, right? It's empathy, it's critical thinking, it's creativity. And I'm seeing more schools try to leverage their technology environments, their teaching and learning environments, to embrace and build on these key skills.
Yeah, that idea of skills came up a lot, and particularly as we had conversations between corporate learning institutions and higher education. There's really this energy and willingness for partnership, I think, between those types of organizations that we haven't necessarily heard in the past. And I think it's, educators wanting to make sure that their students are really getting value out of their credentials, out of their degrees, and that they're market-ready graduates. And I think corporations are recognizing, like you say, some skills are less durable than others, and technical skills are they have a very limited shelf life. And so more corporations want to understand how do they engage and teach their employees while really doubling down on some of those more human skills. Chris, I really saw as well how sophisticated a lot of the educators we work with are in terms of using technology. And one of the ways that stuck with me is the conversation around accessibility. That used to be about screen readers and compliance, and you just didn't really want the boogeyman to get you, and you wanted to do the basics. But we're hearing educators talk about accessibility so much more broadly now. They're talking about it in terms of giving student equity, whether that's gender, demographics, mobility. Understanding that creating native mobile content is wildly more accessible than just whatever you want to dump from your desktop. And when students aren't even doing the little pinch and zoom, and they're looking at their stuff on their phone, it has a massive impact on their engagement and their ability to complete learning activities.
That's so true. And data. I think that was something else I know we both have seen a lot of people talking about. That people are getting used to the idea of using data to improve the student experience. Data beyond the summative grades, data found within formative assessments or surveys that they're giving out. They're looking at learner engagement data, the level of use of tools within the system. And it's giving instructors and administrators and students much more of a complete picture of the learning experience, right? And allowing designers to redesign courses much more appropriately, instructors to redesign their courses with this data in mind. So it's really encouraging for me to see the use of analytics being much more embraced. I saw a lot of people willing to sort of be open to learning more about that, learning more about using analytics, asking lots of questions, looking to their peers. And then I saw really advanced users wanting to take it even further, right? They're looking to get automate their workflows or their data processing much more quickly, and really using the data as part of their continuous improvement processes that they're working on. And then the other thing that I picked up on was the use of filters within data. It's something that I know we've been working on at D2L and on Brightspace, looking at providing filters to allow you to really get granular by role, or to help you use the data most appropriately for the role that you're playing, right? Mm-hmm. So the data that an administrator might be looking at is not the same that an instructional designer might need to look at. And you have the ability to parse that out now. That's making it much more friendly and useful, I think. And that's why I'm guessing why we're seeing much more uptake.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that data just feels more accessible, to use that word again. There are more people that are, and a wider range of people at organizations we talk to that now have access to data. It doesn't seem to be, congregated in small IT groups. It's becoming much more open. There's more of an organizational culture around that continuous improvement.
That's so true. And I'm curious to see those that are participating today. Welcome again to Between Two Moose. I'm Chris Sessums. I'm with Ken Chapman from D2L. And we're curious, what's top of mind for you? Is there anything that we've mentioned today that's piqued your curiosity or you want to know more about? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Happy to take any questions that folks have. And while we're waiting for questions, Ken, I have another one for you. We talked about that workforce development. That was something that I saw a lot of heads nodding when the ideas around bridging that workforce and the universities and colleges and their local community businesses and industries. I saw light bulbs going off all across the venue around this. Why do you think that is? Why do you think we're seeing so much more interest in this work and school connections?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I actually think it's one that surprised us a little bit. I don't think 2 years ago we would have predicted that this would have been a major theme, or at least at the level that it is. I think that there's a recognition that, we're past this term now, but the new traditional learner is making up a wider part of the audience in higher education, and that they've started to get good at really delivering programs that are flexible, that start to acknowledge, capabilities and achievements people have built up over time, that can accelerate their progress through what would otherwise be a traditional program that may take them 2 to 4 years to complete. I think what's also driving that is the workforce is understanding that they have a limited shelf life on a lot of the technical skills that they're trying to ramp up. Think about a business that's competing with Google, Facebook, and Amazon for big data experts. They want to be able to train up their employees really quickly on new ideas and new concepts. And higher education is really good at that. And they know how to do that at scale, and they know how to do that in a data-driven and student-oriented fashion. So I think that there's a 1 + 1 = 3 starting to happen there in terms of the market conditions.
I agree. And I appreciate your insight there, Ken. I noticed that we've got some comments. Ben Campbell mentioned, hey, Ben, that he really likes that idea of durable skills. And Serena Gray says, I need to know, does the moose have a name? which may not have a direct impact to the question that we had, but I think it's a very good question that we should probably address. Do our moose have names?
Yeah, in season 1 of any series, you don't give away the greatest secrets, right? Lost didn't tell you what the island was about in season 1. So stick with us on Between Two Moose, and one day you'll learn the name, the backstory, and all the good stuff of these fellows behind us.
That's a brilliant answer. I'm glad I pitched that to you. So definitely, folks, please stay tuned to more episodes of Between Two Moose. Ken and I will be back again, trying to hash out differences, as well as looking at different areas in educational technology, supporting teaching and learning endeavors. It's topics that are really passionate for Ken and I to get engaged in. So go ahead.
And one more thing, Chris, for those of you that were at Fusion this year and enjoyed it, or missed it and want to catch in on all the energy next year, we have a register and pay later format for Anaheim 2020 or Toronto 2021. So it's almost like buying a couch. But it's EdTech, but you can buy now, pay later. So registration's open.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm especially looking forward to getting up to Canada at some point. I think that'll be exciting, especially in the summertime. It's much cooler up there, right, Ken?
Feels like Florida right now. Yep.
Well, great. Well, thanks everybody for joining us at this edition of Between Two Moose, and we will catch you again live next time. So stay tuned and like and subscribe.
Thanks, everybody.